Okay, problem number 20 says triangles LMN and OPQ are shown below. LMN and OPQ are shown below. What additional information is sufficient to show that triangle LMN can be transformed and mapped onto OPQ? Okay, so what they're really asking, to be transformed and mapped, they would have to be similar. So one of the things they're basically asking you to know is, do you know that this is the same thing as being called similar? So a different way to say it is, what additional information is sufficient to show that triangle LMN is similar to triangle OPQ, right? And let's just make sure that we've got this. If they were similar, L would correspond to O, right? P would correspond to M, and Q would correspond to N. Okay, so we've written this correctly. And so we're asking ourselves, what's sufficient information to show that? And remember, our sufficient information to show similarity, our choices are angle, angle, side, angle, side, right? And side, 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 where the angles are congruent and the sides are proportional. So let's see what information we already have. We already have one angle. So we already know one angle is congruent. So we're probably going to be using that information in one of these. And we already know, let's see, 12 is proportional. 12 and 8 have a proportion. If we're going proportional, 12 over 8, or if you reduce that, that would be 3/2. So the scale factor, we already know the scale factor, if we want to take small to large, we'd have to multiply by 3/2. The scale factor from small to large would multiply by 3/2. Okay? And if we wanted to go from large to small, we'd divide by that. So now in which additional information is sufficient to show, really, if we just knew another angle, angle LMN is congruent. So let's look at this. If LMN is congruent to QOP, okay, well, that's not going to work because that doesn't make any sense. Those two don't correspond. So we actually know that's not going to work. What about angle NLM? NLM is congruent to QOP. Oh, those are corresponding. All right, so we already know, just checking the angles. I went to that first because I just needed two angles. And so if we knew that, we'd have enough and we wouldn't have to worry about proportions at all. But let's just double check to see if one of these would have worked out. It doesn't hurt to double check. OQ equals 6. Now, OQ equaling 6 would mean that LN and OQ would be 6. They'd have to have the same scale factor. So if I take 10 divided by 6, that would need to be the scale factor of 3/2, but it reduces to 5 over 3, not 3/2. So that absolutely wouldn't work because it wouldn't give us the same scale factor. What about MN equaling 9? Again, then the scale factor from here to here would be 9 over 4. That doesn't reduce to 3/2. So again, that would not work. That would not have worked to be able to give us enough information. So definitely the two angles we are right about. If we know that, we'd have sufficient information by angle, angle.